Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that might surprise you. Some everyday foods can actually turn risky, lose flavor, or even become toxic if you put them in the fridge. I know, we've all been taught that the fridge is the safest place for everything, from leftovers to groceries, but that's not always true. Think about it for a second. You go shopping, bring home fresh produce, bread, and other staples, and naturally, you put them in the fridge to keep them safe. But did you know that the fridge can sometimes speed up spoilage, reduce nutrients, and even create harmful compounds? It's true, and it's something most of us don't think about every day. In this video, we're going to cover 8 common foods and habits that you might think belong in the fridge, but actually shouldn't. Some of these might already be chilling in your kitchen right now. By the end, you'll know exactly how to store these foods safely, preserve their flavor, and protect your health. We'll also include easy-to-follow tips, stories from real people, and practical examples you can use right away. So stick with me until the end. You might want to grab a notebook because some of these tips are game changers. Number 1. Potatoes. Cold can turn them. Toxic. Let's start with the humble potato. You might be shocked, but refrigerating potatoes can actually make them harmful. Here's why. Potatoes are full of starch, which is basically long chains of sugar molecules. When stored in the fridge, that starch turns into sugar faster than usual. That can make your potatoes taste sweet. Odd, right? But the bigger problem comes when you cook them later. When baked, roasted, or fried, those sugars react with amino acids to form a chemical called acrylamide. Studies suggest acrylamide can be linked to nerve damage and may even pose a cancer risk if eaten in large amounts over time. Texture is another issue. Fridge potatoes often turn gritty, mushy, or soft, ruining the texture of dishes like mashed potatoes or roasted wedges. Let me tell you about Bill 77. He loved making homemade hash browns every Sunday. He kept his potatoes in the fridge thinking they'd last longer. After a while, he noticed they tasted strangely sweet and browned unevenly in the pan. Frustrated, he read up on potato storage and switched to a cool, dark cabinet. Suddenly, his potatoes tasted normal, the texture was perfect, and he felt safer serving them to his family. Tip: store potatoes in a paper bag or basket in a dark, cool cabinet. Avoid plastic bags. They trap moisture and speed up spoilage. Potatoes stored this way will last just as long as in the fridge, but without the health risks. Extra tip: if you live in a very humid climate, make sure the cabinet is ventilated, and check your potatoes for sprouting every few days. Number 2. Onions. Flavor loss and mold. Risk next up, onions. Many people think putting onions in the fridge will prevent them from sprouting or going soft, but the opposite actually happens. Refrigerators are cold and damp, and that environment breaks down the onion's natural cell structure. The onion becomes soft, mushy, and flavorless in just a few days. Worse, moisture creates a perfect environment for mold and bacteria to grow, especially if the onion has even a tiny nick in the skin. Patricia, 81, used to store half an onion in the fridge wrapped in plastic. After a couple of days, she noticed black mold growing inside, even though the outside looked fine. Yikes! Once she switched to storing onions in a mesh bag in her pantry, her onions lasted longer, stayed crisp, and tasted much better in her favorite soups and stews. Tip: store onions in a ventilated container, mesh bag, or loosely covered basket at room temperature. Keep them away from potatoes. They can release gases that make onions spoil faster. Number 3. Garlic. Sprouts and mold garlic is another staple that should never go in the fridge. Why? Because the cold, humid environment actually encourages garlic to sprout. Those green shoots might look interesting, but they make the cloves bitter and soft. Even worse, the moisture in the fridge can lead to mold growth between the layers, which may not always be visible from the outside. Eating moldy garlic can upset your stomach, ruin a recipe, or even force you to toss an entire bulb. Samuel, 75, stored garlic in a small dish in the fridge. Within days, green shoots appeared, and some cloves smelled musty. He switched to a basket on his kitchen counter in a cool, dry spot. His garlic lasted much longer, stayed firm, and kept its fresh, sharp flavor. Tip: keep garlic at room temperature in a ventilated, dry place. Avoid plastic bags. They trap moisture and speed up sprouting. If you want to store it long term, consider freezing peeled cloves in an airtight container. Number 4. Bread. Stale and moldy bread is another food that many people refrigerate without thinking. They believe it will keep longer, but the truth: refrigeration actually makes bread go stale faster. Here's why. The starch molecules in bread crystallize more quickly in the cold, a process called retrogradation. The bread becomes dry and hard within a day or two, even if sealed. Plus, the fridge's moisture encourages mold growth, especially on homemade or preservative-free bread. Jean, 84, used to refrigerate her bread after every shopping trip. She noticed slices turned hard overnight and sometimes spotted fuzzy green mold. After switching to a bread box or paper bag on the counter and freezing extra slices, her bread stayed soft, fresh, and safe. Tip: store bread at room temperature for a few days. Freeze any leftovers and thaw slices as needed. Avoid the fridge unless you live in a very humid climate and don't have other options. Number 5. Tomatoes. Flavor and texture. Destroyed. Tomatoes are delicious and versatile, but refrigerating them can ruin both flavor and texture. Cold stops the natural ripening process and inactivates enzymes that produce the rich, sweet flavor we love. The result? Tomatoes that look fine on the outside but are bland, mealy, and watery inside. Marilyn, 79, prided herself on serving juicy, homegrown tomatoes. To keep extras fresh, she refrigerated them. Her BLTs suddenly lost that summer garden taste. She moved the tomatoes to the counter until fully ripe, and the flavor returned. Tip: keep tomatoes at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. Only refrigerate slices or very ripe tomatoes if you won't eat them within a day or two. Extra tip: store stem side down to slow down moisture loss and extend shelf life. Number 6. Honey. Crystallizes and loses. Benefits: honey is sweet, natural, and packed with enzymes and antioxidants. But the fridge is its enemy. Cold makes honey crystallize, turning it gritty and hard to pour. Repeated chilling and warming can also reduce its natural health benefits, such as antimicrobial properties and antioxidants. Larry, 82, kept honey in the fridge and found it frustrating to use. Moving it to a sealed jar in a cool cabinet kept it smooth, sweet, and full of natural healing properties. Tip: store honey at room temperature in a tightly sealed jar away from heat and moisture. Keep it dry to preserve both taste and health benefits. Number 7. Melons. Lose nutrition and spoil. Faster melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, are often refrigerated as soon as we bring them home. But whole, uncut melons lose flavor, aroma, and nutrients when chilled. Studies show that melons kept at room temperature maintain more antioxidants, like beta-carotene and vitamin C. Once cut, of course. Refrigerate for food safety. Frank, 80, stored watermelons in the fridge and noticed they became bland and watery. After switching to counter storage until cut, the sweet, juicy flavor returned. Tip: keep whole melons at room temperature. Refrigerate only after slicing. Number 8. Coffee loses flavor and aroma. Finally, coffee. Many people think storing coffee beans or grounds in the fridge keeps them fresh, but it doesn't. Cold and moisture make coffee absorb odors from other foods and lose its natural aroma and oils. The result? Flat, dull coffee that doesn't wake you up the way it should. Carol, 78, stored her coffee in the fridge and found her morning cup lacked flavor. Once she moved her beans to a cool, dark pantry in an airtight container, the aroma and taste came back beautifully. Tip: store coffee in an airtight container in a dark cupboard, away from sunlight and heat. Grind beans just before brewing for the freshest cup. Conclusion, so there you have it. 8 foods and habits that shouldn't be in the fridge. Some lose flavor, others lose nutrients, and some can even be risky for your health. Small changes, like storing potatoes in a dark cabinet, onions in a mesh bag, garlic on the counter, honey in a sealed jar, and coffee in a dark pantry, can protect your health, improve flavor, and reduce waste. For seniors, These small tweaks help you stay strong, independent, and confident in the kitchen. If you found this video helpful, comment below about one food or habit you'll change. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated with more tips to make life healthier and easier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.